Imagine walking alone at night, the world quiet and still, when suddenly you feel it, the unsettling presence of someone nearby. Strangers can appear harmless at first, but some encounters are chilling enough to stay with you forever. Tonight, I'll take you through 5 terrifying stories of ordinary people whose lives were forever changed by strangers. Stay with me until the end for a story so disturbing it will make you question ever stopping to help anyone. Let's begin. Story 1. The Silent Passenger. Sarah was driving home late one foggy night when she saw a man standing by the roadside. He was waving, his silhouette barely visible in the mist. Against her better judgment, she slowed down and rolled down her window. "Where are you heading?" she asked. "Just up the road," he replied in a low voice, avoiding eye contact. Sarah hesitated but unlocked the door. The man got into the back seat without saying a word. She expected him to start giving directions, but instead, he sat silently, staring at his hands. Her unease grew as they drove through the quiet, empty streets. "Where exactly should I drop you off?" she asked, glancing at him in the rearview mirror. "Keep going," he muttered. Minutes passed, and the road became narrower, surrounded by dense trees. Sarah's nerves were on edge. Finally, she stopped the car. "This is as far as I'm going. You'll have to get out." The man leaned forward, his face partially lit by the dashboard glow. "You shouldn't have stopped." Terrified, Sarah threw the car into reverse and sped off. When she looked back, the man was gone. Yet, the backseat door was wide open. Story 2. The Grocery Store Stalker. Emma had always loved her Thursday evening grocery trips. But one night, she noticed a man in a dark hoodie lingering in the same aisles as her. She brushed it off as coincidence, but when she reached the checkout, he was behind her in line, staring. She paid quickly and headed to her car. As she loaded her groceries, she felt eyes on her. Turning around, she saw the man standing by the entrance, watching her. Heart racing, she got into her car and locked the doors. As she pulled out of the parking lot, headlights appeared behind her. The car followed her through every turn, staying unnervingly close. She drove to a friend's house instead of going home, and as she pulled into the driveway, the car sped past. When she finally returned home, a note was taped to her door. "You forgot something." She moved the next day. Story 3. The Van That Never Left. Jake and his friends were walking home after a late-night movie when they noticed a white van driving slowly behind them. At first, they laughed it off, joking about serial killers in vans, but as they turned corner after corner, the van stayed on their trail. "Let's test it," Jake said, and they crossed the street. The van followed. They stopped walking, and so did the van. The engine idled, the sound unnervingly loud in the quiet night. One of the friends, Mark, approached the van, intending to confront the driver. The side door slid open, revealing a man wearing a mask and holding duct tape. Mark froze, and Jake screamed for him to run. They sprinted to a nearby house, banging on the door until the porch light flicked on. The van sped off, tires screeching, into the night. The police were called, but the van was never found. None of them ever walked home after dark again. Story 4. The Elevator Encounter. Lisa's office building was nearly empty late at night. She'd stayed behind to finish a project, and as she boarded the elevator, a man in a janitor's uniform stepped in with her at the last moment. She smiled politely, but he didn't smile back. Instead, he stared at the buttons, pressing none. The elevator began its descent, but halfway down it stopped. The lights flickered. "Don't scream," the man said, his voice calm but cold. "They won't hear you." Lisa's heart raced as she backed into the corner, clutching her bag like a shield. Before she could respond, the elevator jolted and resumed moving. When the doors opened, the man walked out without looking back. Lisa ran to the security desk, only to be told no janitor matched his description. A search of the building revealed no sign of him. She never worked late again. Story 5. The Gas Station. Stranger Tom stopped at a gas station late one night, the place nearly deserted. As he filled his tank, an older man approached him, smiling too widely. "Need a hand?" the man asked. Tom shook his head. "I'm good, thanks." "You sure?" The man stepped closer, his smile fading into a strange, hollow expression. Feeling uneasy, Tom quickly paid and got back into his car. As he drove away, he noticed headlights in his rearview mirror. The same car followed him for miles, staying just far enough back to keep him on edge. When Tom turned into his driveway, the car sped off, but his relief was short-lived. The next morning, he found a message scrawled on his garage door. "Next time, don't say no." These stories remind us that sometimes the scariest encounters are not with the supernatural, but with the people we meet in our everyday lives. Have you ever had a chilling encounter with a stranger? Share your story in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more terrifying tales. Sleep well, if you can.